coming in the drive. Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Full Send Half Mast Podcast, episode number 99. And boy, we're going to have some fun tonight. What amazing racing we saw this weekend at Qatar for the penultimate race of the Formula One season. Constructors title closing up just a little bit between McLaren and Ferrari. We'll talk about the races there as well as some dramatics. Oh boy, some dramatics in the Formula 2 World Championship this weekend as well. And we are going into the final weekend, the ultimate weekend of the season for Formula 2 at Abu Dhabi this weekend. And it is coming down to a half a point gap between your 2 points leaders. It's going to be an exciting weekend upcoming. We'll preview that as well and recap this weekend's races at Qatar. We have our infamous driver of the week and bonehead move of the week back again this week. We got some great nominees. And then, like I said, we'll preview this upcoming weekend's races at Abu Dhabi for the finale of the 2024 motorsports season. Sad times. Uh, can't believe it. We're already to the end. One more weekend of racing left, and then the off season is here. The shortened off season leading into 2025. I also have some fantasy I want to go with you guys as well. Recap what I'm going to do for my final week here on fantasy. See if I can maybe make up some ground here in the last ditch effort, as well as some news, which is where we are going to start here this evening. First set of news. It's happening. It's official. Cadillac to Formula One. It's gotten approved by the FIA, the FOM. The Cadillac is going to be entering Formula One in 2026. The moment is here. It's finally come. Unbelievable. I hear that they're going to be using Ferrari power plants for the first few years as they get into F1. The whole Renault not continuing to develop their power plant going forward. So they've decided to go and jump over to the Ferrari until they can eventually move forward into creating their own power plant and format going forward in Formula One, probably around 2028 when that other regulation comes out after this 2026 regulation. Rumors of Colton Herta being the primary subject there to be the driver for that team. Super excited to see if that happens. Like I said, I would like to see Pilot or maybe a Pato Award be able to jump in there. We'll find out if that happens. But wow, I'm so excited. Cadillac to Formula One. I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but I just want to talk about it again because I am so excited. We talked about Cadillac to F1. We also talked about Pratt Miller LMP2 in the IMSA series, as well as Prima and IndyCar. Like next year is going to be a really exciting year with all these new teams, with big time moves, big time driver lineups. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Formula One, especially now that we're having 11 teams on the grid. Can we ever expand? We talked about it last week. I don't know if we can go beyond 11. I know Toyota has shown interest in wanting to jump in. Maybe we can go up to 12 teams, 13. Who knows, man? The sky's the limit, but the world is changing in motorsports. And now with Cadillac being accepted into the Good Boys Club there in Formula One, it's official. It's going to be exciting. All right, my next set of news here is pertaining to some NASCAR with the Front Row Motorsports still in that current injunction lawsuit against NASCAR with 2311. They have announced that they are going to be running as an open team in 2025 with potentially with 3 cars. We already know Gilliland is re-signed. We already know that they picked up Noah Lyle Gregson. Almost slipped up and said no. Lyle Gregson. Gotta say Lyle. And then potentially Zane Smith. As plans currently sit, he's looking to be that third open car next year for Front Row Motorsports. This, I mean, it's tough, I believe, to be able to run even one entry full time as a non-chartered team, but to run 3 full-time entries non-chartered, I see a major step back in performance there at Front Row. Zane Smith, so hit and miss. I mean, earlier in this year was so terrible. Was able to recover and have a decent run towards the end. Had a few good results to look back on. And I don't know. I don't know. Gilliland, I think, is a good choice, but he really, I think, took a step back in performance. Who knows about Lyle? I mean, Lyle is the most forgettable, memorable drive. I don't even know how to classify Lyle, but running as a non-charter team, as an open team, lack of money, lack of resources, I think it's going to be tough. And losing the veteran experience of Michael McDowell. Who knows who else is going to be jumping ship over there? It's going to be a tough venture. over there for Front Row Motorsports. But as of now, as it stands, as of today, December 3rd, 2024, it looks like Front Row Motorsports will have 3 open entries in 2025 Cup Series season. Uh, Also, last weekend we talked about this as well. We talked about Tony Breidinger moving up to the number 15 for Tricon Racing next year in the Truck Series full time, or not the 15, the number, what was it, the 15? Was it 17? 11? No, not 11. Was it the one? I believe it was the one, right? I can't remember. I have to go back and look. I feel unprepared. But yeah, she'll be running full time for Tricon next year. Well, they also announced that Rio Ruggiero is going to be making his attempt at the Truck Series full time in 2025, and the number 17 Tricon truck, replacing uh, Taylor Gray that would drove the 17 last year. I think this is a good move. I mean, he's had really good runs with Venerini in the ARCA series. I think he's 18, maybe 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a good move. I mean, I think you're gonna have to put the comparison between him and Tony Breidinger is probably gonna be the trend all year long to compare those two. I mean, that's just kind of what happens when you have two rookie teammates driving for the same team. I He's an aggressive driver. I'll give him that. In the ARCA series, he's had some pretty good performances, really aggressive. He's had some not so good performances. I think it's a good move for Tricon. They're gonna have obviously Corey Heim gonna be continue on there. Tanner Gray, I don't know if he's hit his ceiling or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this Tricon team moves going forward, as they are the premier Toyota team in the Truck Series. They're gonna have all the resources to be successful, and like I said, I think it's gonna be a comparison between Ruggiero as well as Tony Breidinger and the entire length of 2025 in the Truck Series. So good luck to both of them. I'm going to be excited to see how that kind of shakes out as the season goes on, who has better performances where, and who can turn up towards the end of the season, because we all know you just have to have that one miracle race in the regular season and then somehow find a good run in the playoffs. Anybody could be a champion in NASCAR anymore, or not be a champion, depending on how you look at it. So we'll see how that goes with the Rookie of the Year battle, inter-team battle there at Tricon in 2025. Also, Mick Schumacher is out as reserve driver for Mercedes at the conclusion of the 2024 season here after Abu Dhabi. And he is going to be taking his efforts to continue his endurance program there with Alpine in the World Endurance Championship. I am super excited for this. I think this is a good move. I mean, considering we'll talk about it with Antonelli later when it gets to F2 race this weekend, but I just don't think he's it. I really am on the doubting side of Kimi Antonelli's future in Formula One. I'm really skeptical about it, but now that he's going to be moving into that Mercedes seat full time, looks like he's going to get priority there. Mick Schumacher is sitting in the absolute reserve role. He could have been the perfect plug and play guy for that Mercedes seat in 2025. They just overlooked him to bring in a younger, more moneyed talent, I guess. And Mick Schumacher has had a really good year in the World Endurance Championship in 2024. I mean, they didn't get any wins as a startup team. That's expected. I think the one race that really stands out to me was that race there at Le Mans, where they both Alpines were in the top 10 for the early stages of that race, ran up in the top 10, and then both encountered their own troubles throughout the race. But Mick Schumacher has really done a great job this year in that seat, in that ride. I'm excited to see what Alpine could do. They have a driver now that's reliable, a driver that has speed, and a driver that is committed to their team now full time. For something to build on into 2025, I think this is a great move by not only Alpine. I think it's a great move by Mick as well. I'm excited to see the World Endurance Championship. I've said it multiple times over the last few podcasts. I'm super excited about sports car racing's future. We talked about the Pratt Miller LP2 move. We talked about the shakeups in IMSA with the different lineups. Meyer Shanks coming back, and we have also Wayne Taylor then moving over to Cadillac. Bourdais and Van der Zande now moving on to different teams and over in the World Endurance Championship side with the shutdown of Ganassi for this year. Lamborghini deciding to go full-time in IMSA. I mean, it's going to be incredible. Can Toyota, with all the BFPs, can they bounce back? We see Ferrari really take a step forward. Porsche this year was really fun to watch. Win the Constructors Championship, Drivers Championship. Just absolutely swept this 2024 season. Can they come back firing on all cylinders? I mean, this Alpine on the absolute rise right now. I believe that they're going to be so much better than they were in 2024. As a startup team in 2024, it was a tough task anyway to be as competitive as they were, and they did it. And I think that the future's bright for Alpine, and I know the future's bright for sports car racing. I am super excited for 2024. We're gonna have a full World Endurance Championship breakdown. We've talked about a lot of the driver lineup so far already on past podcasts. If you've been paying attention, um, I'm excited. We'll have a full breakdown during the offseason, a whole World Endurance Championship. Maybe I also include IMSA in there and do like a double header, full season breakdown in both those series on a full lake podcast with Tom. So that'll be a lot of fun. But I'm super excited, and this is some more big, great news for sports car racing, and I'm super excited. And I am looking forward to the future of Alpine and Mick Schumacher there as well. Also, Perez looking to get out at the end of 2024 for Red Bull Racing after Abu Dhabi. This is great news, man. Perez, Checo, he's been an absolute fraud. He's been terrible. Most weekends can't get out of Q3. Uh, Races only hard against this little baby brother team. I mean, he is a clown. I'm glad that he's going to be moving out. The only downside is we heard the rumors that Calapinto was going to be a replacement for him. And it seems like all of those rumblings and everything have been calmed down. The fire's been put out there. It looks like they're going to overpass him. Right now, it looks like the leading contenders over there are Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. And out of those two, I hope Tsunoda gets the nod to go up to the Red Bull team next year. I think he deserves it more than Liam Lawson at this point. Not taking anything away from Liam Lawson. I think he does great, but I think Tsunoda has just outperformed him in the starts that he's had this year. He's been in the line for this seat forever. So I would like to see Yuki Tsunoda get this opportunity. And where's Perez gonna go? Probably be the line chef at Applebee's next to Corey LaJoy. That would be a great place for him. Well, maybe not Applebee's. Maybe like a Del Taco or a Taco Time or something there for Perez. All right. Next, also some more awesome news for the World Endurance Championship. BMW. We've talked about BMW all season long. If you've been paying attention to this podcast, they've just had the worst season, I think, of any team in the World Endurance Championship. IMSA. I mean, Lamborghini had better moments. I mean, even Izzata Fraschini, as terrible as they were this year, I feel like they were never supposed to be good anyway. Really kind of absent. You almost forgot they were on the grid at sometimes. But BMW was supposed to be that team to take the leap forward in 2024. They had a really good end to their 2023 campaign in IMSA, winning some races. Had a decent driver lineup, in my opinion. They're making big moves. They just brought in K-Mag for 2025 for the World Endurance Championship. Oh boy, if there's any team out there on the grid in the World Endurance Championship that needs an influx of just straight juice, steroids, whatever it may be, pump them up with some hype and adrenaline. They needed this. This BMW needed something like this. And I mean, say what you will about K-Mag, but he is an absolute Chad race car driver, man. He does some stuff sometimes that just blows my mind, gets away with it. Always brings in entertainment and drama. I just think this is a good move by BMW. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? He races like he did in 2024 in F1 and wrecks more race cars. I mean, they're already there. How much worse can it get? I love this move by Alpine. I think this is, or by BMW, excuse me. I think this is a great move. I think it's going to bring a lot more attention, a lot more eyeballs to this team, more sponsorship money, maybe. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be a wonderful move for BMW. I'm excited to see K-Mag ripping around on these endurance races and see how good he could do behind the wheel of one of these hypercars. Again, I mean, just dub moves, dub after dub after dub when it comes to IMSA and the World Endurance Championship over this offseason and leading into 2025. And I cannot wait. Like I said, we're gonna have a full hour podcast dedicated to the preview of the 2025 World Endurance Championship IMSA seasons, break down all the teams, the lineups, the schedules, our championship favorites, our dark horses, what to watch for, some of the marquee events, and pick some of the results of those. It's going to be a fun podcast. Me and Tom love sports car racing. I think it is the premier racing on the planet at the moment. Granted, F1 and IndyCar were amazing in 2024, kind of held the banner. Sports car racing right there with it. I think next year sports car racing is take another step forward and being the premier form of motorsport in 2025. All right, well that will cap off most of the news that I had here today. I just wanted to touch on some of those things because some exciting stuff going into 2025. Man, this off season, it feels like we're still in the season, but now we're closing to the end of the season. It's the crazy part of the year where you got to kind of just go with the flow. All right, first off, this weekend we had F1 and F2 at LaSalle, uh, the Qatar Grand Prix weekend. On Saturday, we had the F2 race, the LaSalle sprint race. Oliver Behrman qualifies on pole. Uh, Looked like he was going to take off and win this race, but Hadjar battling for the point to the World Championship in Formula 2. He battles back, takes the lead on lap 2, and looks like he has this race under control. We did have VSC early on lap 5 with Guther having a little bit of an engine issue and end up bringing out the VSC. We had a great battle between Victor Martins and Jack Crawford there for the podium. I mean, they battled back and forth multiple times for that third position. It was such a great battle. I believe it was Crawford that eventually overtook Victor Martins and ended up taking that podium spot. But then right at the end of the race, 23-lap race, 21, we had, 3 laps to go. Oliver Behrman gets challenges back for the lead against Hadjar, retakes the lead. And then Hadjar running P2 tried to make a fight back at Behrman, ends up making a mistake, spins out off the track, ends up finishing the race P4, losing ground to his championship rival, Bortoleto, or I guess not gaining as much ground as he was going to gain on because Bortoleto didn't really have that great of a sprint race. Not really killed it for him. But still, we'll talk about the Grand Prix here after we talk about the F1 sprint race. But what a great event there with Hadjar having his incident, taking advantage of Bortoleto. Also, safety car late in this race that ended it with Antonelli and Miney having an incident. Looked like Antonelli into turn 1 just drove it in way too far. Almost ran into the back. I believe it was number 12 car. I can't remember who was behind the wheel of the 12 car or what Red Bull Junior car he was behind. I don't think it was the 12. But besides the fact, drove it into the corner way too far. Almost ran over the Red Bull Junior car. Collects Miney. They brings out the safety car. Ends the race under yellow. Antonelli, just a complete boneheaded move. Lack of awareness. I think lack of skill. I just don't think he's it. And I think F1 fans are going to find out a lot next year with him in that Mercedes. I think he's going to be the Perez of the Mercedes. I have no expectations for Antonelli at all. I'm not really looking forward to it. And proves it right here. I mean, just absolutely boneheaded move taking out Miney. And then Behrman ends up winning the race. Hadjar, I believe, did come home P4. So he still gained some points on Bortoleto in this tight battle for the championship, which we'll talk about here in a minute because what an exciting finale. I'll set it up for you here in a minute. So stay tuned. Also, on Saturday, we had the F1 Qatar sprint race, the final sprint race of the 2024 Formula One World Championship season. We had Lando Norris on pole. We had Perez and Colapinto. This was one of the best moments of the race, having start from the pit lane. Perez just didn't get a good start out of the pit lane. You have to let all the cars go by, obviously, and he just gets a terrible start. Just an absolutely terrible start. Colapinto goes up to the outside, goes by him, takes off. Perez sitting there looking like a child, just got his hand caught in the cookie jar. I mean, just what another clown move by Perez. Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, there's just not much more you could say about Checo this year. It's just been terrible. I mean, it's really been brewing the last couple years. I mean, I saw a stat earlier that said Verstappen in the last 3 years has won 3 world championships, and Perez has only won 2 races. He's got more champions as Verstappen than Perez has race wins in the same equipment. Sad. Poverty. All right. Verstappen had lots of struggles in this sprint race. I picked him to win. He's been so dominant in these sprint races this year. He was non-existent, non-factor in the sprint race at all. Really, the race was at the front. We had Lando leading with about anywhere from a half a second to a second lead over Piastri there in P2. And then George Russell looked like he had the fastest car in this race by far. I mean, it looked like he was the best. He was right there in the DRS train as well, right behind Piastri. He was just challenging Piastri over and over again. Just could never get by Piastri. Piastri did a great job holding him off. Really created really the only amount of drama in this race. Piastri basically kind of playing blocker. And then the drama comes into the final corner. The freaking McLaren crew radios into Lando, says, "Hey, Lando, maintain position, hold the lead." And then he kind of does something rogue out of his own doing basically out of the final corner, slows up, lets Piastri go by, and Piastri takes the win in the sprint race over Norris, who finishes P2, and then obviously Russell there in P3. Uh, so extending that lead for McLaren, they needed it because that would be 15 more points that they earned. And Ferrari, I believe they only scored like 7 or 8, or no, they only scored like 8 points, I believe, in that sprint race. So opening the gap between the two. So that was big. Um, and that was a great. I mean, that wasn't the most fantastic or exciting sprint race, but we did have a little bit of drama towards the end, and kind of change a little bit with the constructors world championship. All right, now I do want to talk about this F2 race in a little bit of extent here, the Lusail Grand Prix for Formula 2, the penultimate Grand Prix of the season for Formula 2. Your points leader, Bortoleto, qualifies on pole. He has an absolute amazing run at the early parts of this race. We had a safety car early with Antonelli going off track. And then Bortoleto tried to pit under safety car situation, made a mistake on pitting, ends up getting a 5-second penalty. So him and Aaron, probably the two fastest cars in the field, got buried in traffic because a lot of leaders hadn't pitted through that safety car situation. So they gave away a lot of track position. But Aaron and Bortoleto, oh my goodness, what an absolute drive by those two. I mean, they were absolutely duking it out, battling through the field, making crazy moves. I mean, Formula 2 cars are, in my opinion, one of the coolest race cars on planet Earth. I think they look freaking amazing. They just are badass. They put on great racing. It reminds me a lot like a mix. It's kind of a happy medium between IndyCar and Formula 1. The way they race. I mean, there's a lot of drafting, a lot of the closing rates are really good. I mean, the braking power in these cars are really good. They're a little bit down on power, but the braking power is really good. The amount of slipstream they could get on other cars in front of them gets on these massive runs. I mean, it's just so much fun racing. Bortoleto and Aaron just battling through the field, moving past people left and right. They did have another safety car after the with the Crawford having some issues. Unfortunate for him, his car basically died on him, and that brought out another safety car. Get another restart, and on this next restart, Oliver Bearman from the lead still hasn't pitted yet. Kind of playing off strategy, makes a big mistake on the restart, loses the lead to Dirksen. Then Dirksen's team radios into him, hey, we must give up this spot because it was an illegal overtake on a restart after Bearman basically went into turn one or off the final corner, missed just the cool tires, couldn't get the heat cycle in him. Makes a mistake, goes off the track, allowed Dirksen to go by him. Bearman lost multiple positions there. Then Dirksen's team radios in, hey, we got to let back Bearman by. But in doing so, ends up losing 2-3 positions there, puts him behind the 8 ball. Pretty much race was done because he still had to pit anyway from there. Bearman also had to pit. And then from there, Bortoleto, amazing drive, getting through the field, making some daring moves, trying to keep one car between him and Aaron the whole time throughout the field. He was able to do so successfully, got to the lead, and then was trying to build his gap, right? 5-second penalty, trying to build that gap over Aaron. At what points it almost got up to 5 seconds, where all he had to do was just go up over 5 seconds, even by a tenth or a thousandth of a second, he would have won the race. Wasn't able to do that by the end, wasn't able to maintain it. And Hadjar, battling in this championship, puts on another absolute Chad drive as well. He drives himself all the way up into a podium position. And by the end of the race, he ends up P2. And not only in doing that, with Bortoleto moving back to P4, it closes the championship gap down to half of a point. Bortoleto leads Hadjar by half of a point after this Grand Prix weekend. Unbelievable we are setting up here for this championship weekend for Formula 2 going into Saudi Arabia. Half a point with a sprint race and a Grand Prix to go for Formula 2. This is going to be some of the most must-watch entertainment you could ever imagine going into a finale. This is something that only, like, NASCAR would literally get on their knees and beg for something this entertainment. They have to manipulate everything to get this kind of entertainment. This happened naturally through an insane season. Half a point gap. I mean, this is the closest gap I've ever seen in any motorsport ever going into one race, or, well, 2 races, because we have a sprint race and a Grand Prix, going into a championship finale weekend. This is going to be absolutely thrilling to the absolute bitter end. I mean, this is going to be some must-watch TV. If you're tuned in this weekend, you got F1 TV, whatever it may be, tune into some F2 this weekend. I mean, this is going to be absolutely freaking thrilling. And what a great track to end it off on at Saudi Arabia. Maybe not the greatest track in my opinion. It's probably not the greatest track, but it's not the worst track either. Pretty mid. Um, Bortoleto has really turned up towards the end of the season. Hadjar's been consistent throughout the entire season. Uh, One of them's liable to make a mistake. Maybe both make a mistake. I mean, this could come down to the absolute final lap of the final race next weekend for Formula 2. This is some must-watch TV. I'm laying it all out for you. I'm setting it up for you. Half a point gap. Bortoleto over Hadjar. This is insane. And especially after this weekend, Hadjar did everything he needed to do in the sprint race. Looked like he was going to set off to win, build this gap over he could have left with a built gap over Bortoleto and made that mistake in the sprint race. Spins out. It doesn't gain as many points as he needed to on Bortoleto. Then the reverse happens. It looks like Bortoleto in the Grand Prix was going to open up this gap to Hadjar and have an amazing run. Has the penalty, loses spots at the end of the race. Boom. Hadjar's right back in it. I mean, what more can you ask for going into a finale? This is insane. For the Formula 2 World Championship. This is going to be absolutely must-watch, exciting, thrilling TV, bitter end battle. Probably the best battle for a championship all season long. I mean, there's nothing better than this. The F1 World Championship was amazing. Great battle. But Verstappen closed it out with 2 races remaining. World Endurance Championship, it was closed out with 1 race. It was already basically done with 1 race remaining. IMSA, there was 1 race remaining. It's basically done. Same with IndyCar this year. NASCAR, we don't even count that. That's manufactured BS crap. But I mean, just amazing. I mean, you can't script it any better than this. And I'm going to be tuned in, ready for this race, man. It's going to be freaking thrilling, man. I cannot wait for this action in F2 this weekend. I mean, honestly, maybe put out a wager. Who do you think's going to win? Bortoleto, Hadjar? If I was to guess right now, I would say I don't know. See, I'm keep going back and forth on this. I'm like, Hadjar is really consistent over the end of the season, really been closing that gap down for races now, for months. I mean, it looks like he's really getting his feet underneath him here in F2. Bortoleto really had some great performances early in the season, won a lot of races. He's been really successful. Who's more clutch? Right now, if I had to pick one of the two, throw a dart at the board, I'd hope I'd hit the Bortoleto dartboard because, I mean, that drive that he put on with that penalty at the end of that Grand Prix, unbelievable. Unbelievable fight back. Could have won the race. Things went his way, was able to build that gap, could have won the race. Obviously didn't, made the mistake. But Hadjar's not prone to making mistakes either. So it's like, it's going to be must-watch TV. It's going to come down to the bitter end. Nail-biting. Absolute thrilling. It's going to have shades of Abu Dhabi 2021 for F1. In my opinion, I think it could come down to the very last lap. We could have a late race safety car that could change everything. I'm excited. I think this is going to be an absolute banger of a weekend for Formula 2. And not only that, we have the Formula 1 Constructors Championship. We'll talk about that here next. But wow, Formula 2 this weekend. Everybody tune in. You guys are going to love this action you're going to see. All right, it's time. The penultimate race for the Formula 1 season, the Qatar Grand Prix. Verstappen, like I said, was non-existent in the sprint race. Here he is, qualifies on pole. But wait up. Hold a minute. We had an issue under qualifying. On the warm-up lap, Verstappen maybe played a little bit of blocker on George Russell and really hampered him. So they end up giving 1 grid spot penalty to Verstappen. So he qualifies pole. They set him back to second. And at this moment, I was like, all right, Verstappen's winning this race. I kind of had doubts. I was like, yeah, I think Mercedes is going to win. But when they did that to Verstappen, moved him back to P2 and put Russell on the pole after that incident in qualifying, I was like, it's wraps, boys. It's wraps. This is a Verstappen masterclass incoming. And that's what we saw, man, to be honest. I mean, Verstappen, right off the initial start, he ends up getting an absolute amazing initial launch off the line. Gets past Russell, Norris, and hit. Norris, Russell, and Verstappen basically went 3 wide into turn 1. Verstappen refused to give up the position. He takes the lead. And then, obviously, Norris moves into P2. Russell falls all the way back down to P3 after starting on pole. Big-time battle into turn 1. But we get a big-time safety car on lap 1. I mean, this race, I'm just going to say, the layers of this race are absolutely amazing. I mean, all of the drama, the strategies, The wrecks, the safety cars. I mean, the attrition rate was thrilling, absolutely thrilling. Again, another amazing Formula One race in this amazing 2024 season. And the safety car on lap one happened when Hulkenberg went into turn one on the inside of Ocon and Colapinto. Made a little bit of mistake, overcorrected, tagged. I believe he tagged Colapinto into Ocon, and ended both Colapinto and Ocon's race. They didn't do any more further investigation on the accident. They kind of just chalked it up to a racing incident. Um, I don't know. I kind of agree with it. I kind of don't, but it is what it is. Stinks for Colapinto and Ocon, probably two of my favorite drivers in F1, both getting taken out early. That's unfortunate. But then also on that same lap, Stroll doing Stroll things ends up turning Albon around. Ends up basically ending his race. They end up retiring the car shortly after. And Hamilton on that initial start as well got a 5-second penalty for a false start, which they didn't assess that until way later into the race. So that was unfortunate for him. We'll talk about Hamilton here more in depth here in a minute, because I want to talk about how his weekend went and kind of some speculations going into the next weekend. So also on the next after the safety car, we get another restart. Lawson makes a mistake in a turn one, gets into Bottas. He ends up going around, and his race is done at this point. Way behind at this point. This is unfortunate for Lawson, making a pretty boneheaded move. Ends up getting a 10-second penalty for it. So again, it sets him back really far with that 10-second penalty. Really out of contention in this race. I do want to talk about the drama in this race, though. It looks like Verstappen and Norris kind of opened up a massive gap. The Ferraris were non-existent in this race. I'm not going to lie. The Ferraris were so pedestrian, so bad. I did not expect it. And then also with George Russell, was not able to maintain that gap to Norris, and him and Piastri were battling 8-9 seconds behind the leaders at one point in this race. Just irrelevant was George Russell, from pole to irrelevancy within the beginning of this race. It was insane. But Alex Albon has a mirror come off his race car down the front straightaway, basically right off the exit of pit entry, and it's right in the middle of the track. My problem with this is I understand not wanting to throw a yellow or a safety car to change maybe results or pit strategies or anything throughout the race. But where this mirror was sitting was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It was right in the middle of the lane, and so basically when you're going down the front straightaway there at LaSalle, you make your move into turn one, long straightaway, you got the DRS, you're making your move right there around pit exit. That's about the time you're going to make that late move. That's when you're going to get close enough with the slipstream to make that move. Unfortunately, that mirror was right in the way, and they never threw a safety car for like 3-4 laps. And this is where all the drama begins, right? So Verstappen, they're not throwing the safety car, but they're throwing the yellow flag. So Verstappen sees it. Verstappen slows down. Norris is behind him. Norris does not slow down to the yellow flags. Verstappen complains about it. They end up hitting Norris with a penalty, which occurred but affected him later in this race. And then what was it? Was it Bottas, I believe, that was trying to stay out of the way because we had faster cars moving through traffic. Bottas was one of the cars being passed. I can't remember who it was that was trying to make the pass on him, but Bottas basically just moves out of the way, gives up the positions down the straightaway, doesn't even challenge him in turn one. He ends up running over the mirror. Next lap by, Sainz has a puncture. He's sparking. Hamilton, puncture. He's sparking. They finally throw the safety car out there. I mean, the lack of awareness by the FIA, the racing stewards, the officials, boneheaded. I mean, I just don't understand why you're not throwing a safety car there. Not only for safety issues, we talk about all the time. That's why we get the halo on these cars. This is where people could get seriously injured with having a mirror. It's like this big. And it's sitting in the middle of the racing line in basically the one and only great passing zone on the racetrack. I don't get it. I don't get why the safety car didn't come out. I don't know what the lack of foresight there was, or the understanding of the situation, but that was just terrible look by the FIA. I'm not a fan of that move. I said it during the watch party. If you're watching it, I don't understand why they didn't throw the safety car there. I didn't like it. And it ruined multiple people's races. Hamilton at this point, this is where I wanted to lead in with Hamilton. Hamilton had so much damage from this. He was done. He was begging to retire the car. The team wouldn't let him. He was gonna just bring it in and shut it off. Like Hamilton's checked out on 2024. This race was the death nail. I think there's rumors going around, or at least they were talking about it during the race, that potentially Hamilton may sit out here at Abu Dhabi, not even race for Mercedes one last time. Uh, Knowing Lewis Hamilton, I think that's a complete possibility that that doesn't happen. I've seen Lewis Hamilton have these frustrations and moments before in the past, and I think his ego will get to him, and I think he could sit out this weekend. Do I want to see it as a racing fan and has enjoyed this season, especially with what runs Lewis Hamilton's had this year? Some of the best runs of his entire career have come in 2024. I would love to see him one more time in a golden Mercedes, in a silver arrow. I would love to see it. And I think as racing fans, we should be able to see that one last time. Uh, so fingers crossed. Hopefully he does run, because I really want to see. I would like to see him race again. I mean, it's just unfortunate. And then Carlos Sainz obviously having the issues too with the puncture really set him behind. Not that the Ferraris were having a good race. It could have been a blessing in disguise though towards the end of this race, because also who it affected was Lando Norris. Like I mentioned, didn't slow down for the yellow flags. They end up giving him a 10-second stop and go penalty off the next restart. So gets a good restart on Verstappen. Looks like he's going to be able to challenge for the win. Boom. 10-second stop and go penalty. He ends up getting set all the way back to like 14th or 5th. Basically the last car on the track. And then puts on a freaking masterclass at the end. I mean, that was probably the best I've ever seen Lando Norris ever do. I mean, they throw on the soft tires there. He ends up driving through the field, sets the fastest lap at doing so, and was able to get by Albon, get by Tsunoda, Lawson, Bottas at the end of that race to move himself into that 10th position for that final point. Not only the final point, but the fastest lap to get 2 points for McLaren, which is they desperately needed, because who benefited the most out of this was Leclerc. Leclerc ends up in a P2 position at the end of this race. Unbelievable. I mean, it was a non-factor all weekend long, and he ends up P2 in this race. Unbelievable with Leclerc. He's P2, and then obviously Piastri gets P3, which is big points there for McLaren. And then obviously Russell was 4, and then 5th was Sainz. Let me see. Yes, and then 5th was Sainz. So Sainz ends up getting some good points. But also, this has to be said. Fernando Alonso, P7, an amazing run. Pierre Gasly with a P5. He was the one right in front of Sainz, so Sainz was P6. P5 was Pierre Gasly. Unbelievable run by Alpine. Where was the speed been on Alpine all year long? They're turning up at the end of the year. And then the biggest silver lining, driver of the day. He won the pole with the fans, and I love it on the broadcast. And I hope he wins the pole for the Dega boys. Zhou Guanyu, man. Sauber scored points in 2024. Not only have we had 7 different winners, 7 multi-time winners in 2024, one of the greatest F1 seasons of all time. Every team now on the grid has scored points. Finally, with Sauber in the penultimate Grand Prix. Unbelievable drive by Zhou. Unbelievable by Kick. Sauber, unbelievable. And it almost looked like Bottas was going to score points as well. Had that final points position, got by Albon, but with Lando charging late in the race, got by him. It was unfortunate. I wanted to see both Bottas and Zhou score points. That would have been so freaking awesome. It just didn't happen, unfortunately. But still, a bright spot with Fernando P7, Zhou P8. Unbelievable run by Sauber. I am so happy for Sauber. This is it. This is it for Sauber. They're done. They're done. Next year, Audi's moving in. Big appendage swinging. It's going to be a whole new team, a whole new franchise there. With Hulkenberg but now behind the wheel of one of them cars. I mean, unbelievable way for a send-off. I'm just so happy for Sauber. I'm just happy for Zhou. What a great run they had. Verstappen ends up winning the race and dominant performance. I mean, just absolutely dominates this race. Hulkenberg had trouble at the end. He ends up leaving the race as well. I forgot to mention that. He ends up retiring. Bad weekend there for him. And with this also what opens up for is they call it the $30 million drive by Pierre Gasly, because with this drive by Gasly, they end up moving ahead of Haas by 5 points in the constructor standings. That's $30 million difference in payout at the end of the season. The drama. I mean, you can't predict this stuff. I mean, the ebbs and flows of this season have been absolutely insane. I mean, you can't believe that. Unbelievable. Magnussen ends up scoring points as well to kind of mitigate the damage, but it looked like Haas had it wrapped up. I didn't think Alpine could fight back, but the last 4 races of the season, here comes Alpine flying through the field, getting points. Unbelievable. Unbelievable drives in this race. The attrition rate, I think we had 14 cars finish this race. And insane results with the penalties we saw with Hamilton, the drama we saw with the mirror affecting Hamilton as well, and then Lando Norris having his penalty. I mean, just so much layers to this race. What another freaking fantastic race. Another awesome watch party. If you guys tuned in, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I had a fun time in that watch party early morning on Sunday. That was a lot of fun. What a great race. What a great race. Verstappen, again, another win this season. In a weekend that he looked pedestrian in. I mean, there was nothing about this weekend that looked like Verstappen could win until I think what lit the fire underneath him was that penalty. Was that penalty in qualifying? That one grid spot penalty, because he absolutely charged turn one, took the lead, and really didn't look back. I mean, led the entire race. I mean, it was an unbelievable masterclass by Verstappen. And after this race, though, we got to look at the constructor standings between Mercedes and Ferrari. So right now we're separated by a total of 21 points. It was 19 until Norris climbed his way back through the field there. Also, you had Sainz trying to get by Gasly, was not able to. So, I mean, there's a big point swings there, especially with the Lando penalty, because I think it would have been wraps if Lando would have finished right there in P2 with Piastri P3. I think the Constructors' Championship would have been wraps, but Leclerc with the P2, he's now only 7 points behind Lando for P2 in the World Drivers' Championship. So there's so much intrigue going into Abu Dhabi, not for the World Championship, but for second in the World Championship, as well as the Constructors' World Championship. And the Formula 2 Championship down to 2 by a half a point between Hadjar and Bortoleto. I mean, we're set up for an all-time great weekend here at Abu Dhabi for the finale for the 2024 motorsport season, man. This is just absolutely thrilling. The path for Ferrari to win this Constructors' Championship is, I feel like they're going to have to go 1-2. If they go 1-2 and set fast lap, it's 26 plus 18. That would put them at, gosh, quick math, 24 plus 20, 44 points. The max they can score is 44. McLaren would have to score 22, so that would be basically third and fourth, and they would secure it. Or third would be 15 plus fourth, or plus fifth, would be 10. No, 8. 8 plus 15 would be 22. Yeah, 22 or 21. No, 23. Okay, so going in this weekend, the only way McLaren will clinch it with a third and a fifth. Wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. If Ferrari goes 1-2, third and fifth for McLaren. That's crazy. And who knows? Maybe George Russell gets in there and mixes it up a little bit. If we see Hamilton or not, I know Verstappen's going to be in there to mix it up. So there's 2 to 3 guys in there that can mix this up. Lando could have an issue and disqualify. I mean, wow. I'm still going to stick with it. If I'm going to make a bold prediction right now, I think that Ferrari is going to pull off this Constructors' Championship. I picked it as my bold prediction in the offseason. It's the last one I have left remaining that's eligible. I'm 1 out of 8, or I've got 1 out of 9 so far. This could put me at 2 out of 10, correct? And I want it to happen bad. And I think this is the weekend that Ferrari, we saw the pace that they had last year at Abu Dhabi. They were really fast. I think this is the weekend that Ferrari could definitely make some shakeups and maybe take this World Championship, this Constructors' Championship away from McLaren this weekend. I really do. I'm excited. When it comes to driver, or one more thing I want to add, also congratulations to Abby Pulling, ends up winning the Formula One Academy World Championship this year. Great job for her. Dorian Pon had a great start to the season. I think it all went downhill with that disqualification that she had, excuse me, at Jeddah when she was leading the race, won the race, didn't slow down after the caution flags or check flags. I think it pretty much set her out behind after that. Really couldn't recover. But still, fantastic season by her. But awesome for Abby Pulling to win the F1 Academy Champion Junior Alpine team. Drivers of the week, Pierre Gasly, P5. Unbelievable drive. Climbs themselves up. The $30 million drive for Pierre Gasly this weekend. Also, Fernando Alonso. This was a great drive for Fernando. Stayed out of all the drama. Had the pace. Great drive by Fernando, P7. And then Joe Garneau. He ends up scoring points for Salva. Let's go, Salva. I love it. Great drive by Joe. Probably this is 100% his greatest drive ever. He won the driver of the week in the poll during the race. So I want to see if he can win the Dega Boys poll as well. Let's see what you guys have to say. Boneheads of the week, Nico Hulkenberg. I'm gonna nominate him for that turn one crash, losing talent basically. Um, he just not something Hulkenberg does, so I'm gonna nominate as a bonehead for that. Also Lance Stroll wiping out Alex Albon on the first lap. Typical Lance Stroll move. See if you guys vote on that. And then also I'm gonna nominate Sergio Perez. He was out of this race as well. I didn't even mention it because he's so irrelevant. It wasn't even worth mentioning on the race recap. But yeah, he runs out of talent, ends up spinning out, ends up not finishing the race for Red Bull. Yes, we went over Constructors Championship. Alrighty. Next on the docket, there's one thing I want to talk about this weekend: the F1 uh, and F2 at Yas Marina, the finale for the 2024 motorsports season. Big notes. First off, Jack Doohan will be behind the wheel of the Alpine, the second Alpine with Gasly this weekend, as Alpine has decided to bench Ocon for the finale at Abu Dhabi. I'm a big Ocon fan. This really stings, but he's not going to be back at Alpine next year anyway. It's already announced he's going to be with Haas, so I guess he gets an early offseason. Unfortunate. Would have liked to see him finish out the year with Alpine, especially when they're in this Constructors Championship fight against Haas. I think it would have been more advantageous for Alpine to decide to run both Ocon and Gasly to give themselves the best chance to maintain that position in the points for the constructors. Instead of bringing in Jack Doohan, who I don't believe is going to be able to do anything relevant to be able to gain points. Especially this weekend, Haas can be pushing hard. Hulkenberg and Magnussen, those Haas cars have been fast, and if they both can put it together, I think they're going to beat Alpine this weekend for that position in the Constructors Championship. So, big time move there for Doohan to jump into that Alpine this weekend. All right, F2 Yas Marina sprint race. I'm going to preview both the sprint race and Grand Prix. I kind of set it up for you. Like I said, I think Bortoletto is going to win the championship this weekend. I think if he could just maintain in the sprint race and not make any mistakes, maybe Hadjar will be pushing a little bit harder, like we saw in the sprint race earlier this year or this weekend. I think that could put him into some trouble. I think Bortoletto is going to be on an absolute mission this weekend to be able to maintain that points lead. And I think he extends his gap by a few points in the sprint race. And if he doesn't, I think maybe he loses a few points. And if he can either gain a couple or lose just a couple, and stay right there, I think he's gonna have this in the bag when it comes to Grand Prix Saturday or Sunday. I think he's going to win the sprint or the Grand Prix for the Yas Marina Grand Prix this weekend. And I think with that win, it will secure him the Drivers' Championship in Formula 2. Now, for F1 this weekend, the Constructors' Championship. I already precursored it. I think that Ferrari is going to secure this Constructors World Championship for 2024. I'm sticking with it. I think it happens. And I think the guy that leads the 1-2 charge for Ferrari this weekend is going to be old Charles Leclerc. I think he's going to win this race. I think it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2. I think Verstappen will probably finish P3, so that would put 17 points on the board for McLaren with a 10 or 18 with 10 and 8. And I don't think that's enough because I think even if they don't get the fastest lap Ferrari, that's still going to put them at 43 points. They're down 21, 43 minus 18. That's not going to equal any less than 21. That would be 40 minus 20, that'd be 23 points. That'd be enough. 25 points. Yeah. They're going to win by a grand total of 3 points over McLaren this weekend. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be 1-2 Ferrari. I think Lando is going to get the fastest lap. Piastri is going to finish probably P5, P4 for Norris, P3 for Verstappen, and the World Constructors Championship will go to Ferrari this weekend. And I guess that kind of answers who I picked to win. My dark horse this weekend, I'm going with Hulkenberg. I think he has a 6th or 7th place finish this weekend in bag here. Or actually, I'll say 7th. I think he finished 7th, and I think Magnussen gets the final position in points in 10th. So that would put Haas currently 5 points behind Alpine. With that 7th place finish, that would be 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5. Yeah, that would do it. They'd beat Haas by a point. So that's my prediction. Ferrari wins by 3 points in the Constructors' Championship over McLaren, and then Haas gets Alpine by 1 point after this weekend for the Constructors' World Championship standings. And I think it's going to be a fantastic race. I think it's gonna be an absolute banger of a race. I think it's gonna come down to the final laps where we're looking at Piastri or Norris trying to gain one more spot to win the world championship, or maybe lose a spot to lose the world champion. I think it's going to come down to an absolute nitty gritty championship battle fight. I think Ferrari is going in hot. I think they're going in cooking. I think this is the weekend Ferrari literally solidifies themselves. I bet they qualify 1-2. I think Ferrari is going to show up, big appendage swinging, and they're going to make some moves this weekend. I think they've got it in the bag, man. They're going to secure this season the right way. And even if Leclerc doesn't win and Sainz does, it doesn't matter. They just have to finish 1-2. So I do think Leclerc will lead the charge, but I would love to see Sainz win in his walk-off. I think this will be the last chance we ever see Sainz in a championship competitive car moving over to Williams next year. I think it'd be awesome if he did a walk-off win for Ferrari before he leaves that seat. I think that'd be pretty sweet. But if he doesn't, it will be Leclerc. Ferrari, big 1-2 this weekend. All right, fantasy lineup this weekend. Um, I'm gonna go Leclerc, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Sonoda, and Colapinto. That'll be my 5 driver lineup. I like Leclerc, I like Piastri. I think they're both gonna be up there. Obviously, I think that both McLaren and Ferrari are gonna be up the front of the grid this weekend. I don't think that's even a question in anybody's mind. With as much that's on the stake here for the World Championship for constructors. Also, Hulkenberg, like I said, I think he's gonna have a great run. I like Sonoda. I don't think Qatar really went the way they went. They went with the soft tires at the end of that race. Just didn't pay off for him. Lost so much time. Sonoda was a dump truck. I mean, they brought an absolute dump truck. Buy one, get one free. They should have bought one, gave one back. I mean, it was terrible. Absolute jump trucks tonight or this weekend. I think they bounce back and end the season on a high note. So I'm going to take him. And then I'm going to take Carl Pinto. He had such a great start to his fill-in duties here at Williams. I really thought like he was going to be the next big thing. I still do. I still think so. I like Colapinto a lot. Maybe having the end of season blues, the adjustment period F1 started hot off the gate. And now he's having some couple bad performances. Really started at Vegas with that qualifying crash. Had to start again from the pit lane here at Qatar. I think he bounces back. I think he ends the season on a high note. And then for constructors, I'm gonna go Mercedes and Alpine. I might change it though. I might change it to Ferrari and Haas. Yeah, I might change it to Ferrari and Haas this weekend. I don't know if I want to take the hit though. I might just leave it. I might just leave it. I don't really want to take the hit considering it's the final race. I'm trying to make a charge here at the end for my fantasy. So I think that's what I'll go with this weekend. Alrighty. Last little bit here that I want to talk about is our watch party this weekend. Make sure you guys tune in. It'll be 8 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday, right here on this YouTube channel. Watch party, the final one of 2024 for the finale for the F1 World Championship. Oh man, it's gonna be so much fun. We did it. We did this last year. Had a great time. Woke up really early in the morning. Not much of an early person or early morning person. I usually work pretty late in the evening, so being up early like that for me is gonna be a little bit challenged. So I'll be a little drowsy. Maybe have a little bit of coffee with you guys, hang out. It's gonna be a fun time regardless. We're gonna talk some racing, maybe even talk about some 2025 expectations and watch this thrilling constructors championship come down to the bitter end. Like I said, it's gonna come down to the very last lap of the final race to decide who the World Constructors Championship is, and also decide maybe where Alpine and Haas line up in that 30 million drive by Gasly. Maybe Hulkenberg and Magnussen pull off a $30 million drive this weekend. Who knows? It's going to be absolutely thrilling. And then also probably do a little bit of talking about that F2 World Championship as well. That race will be concluded by the time it starts. So maybe we could talk about that as well. Maybe we have to get up really, really early there on Sunday morning because I'm definitely going to want to watch that Formula 2 race as well. So yeah, it'll be a fun time. Make sure you guys turn on your notifications. That'll be Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time or 8 a.m. Eastern time. Get up early in the morning with me. Come hang out, watch some Formula 1. And interact with me in the chat. It should be fun. And I believe Tom will be here too. We'll see. Alrighty. Make sure you guys go follow us on all of our socials. They're on the bottom of the screen now. We got X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're also streaming over there on Kick. So anybody watching over on Kick, really appreciate you guys a lot for tuning in here for this podcast. So much fun to do this with you guys here tonight. Also, if you guys want to support us on Patreon, we've got some cool content on there. Every little bit helps. So if you guys want to go support us over there, it means the world to us. So thank you guys so much. Also, if you look down in the description below, there's a link to our Discord page. So all the news that I talked about here tonight, all of that also gets posted on our Discord. You can post your own news on there even if you want. We've got everything from NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula 1, IMSA World Endurance Championship, We even have short track racing, dirt track racing. We got sports car racing from around the world. Formula racing, F1 Academy. We got V8 supercars. We got uh, drag racing. I mean, all kinds of motorsports are posted right there on our Discord. All the rumor, drama, news, whatever it may be. Go and interact with other like-minded racing fans such as yourself on our Discord. It's so much fun. Even got voice chat channels. You can jump in there and talk to some of your friends or meet some friends to go talk to in there. Watch some of the races in there with your friends. It's such a great time in our Discord. If you guys want to become part of this awesome community, you're welcome to do so. Any moment. Go join our Discord. It's a lot of fun. Also, if you guys want to support us even more, we have a merch store, by the way. That link is also in the description. Go buy your Big Boy swag wherever you are in the world. It could be getting warm, it could be getting cold. I don't know where you're at, but go buy you some swag. Go buy a t-shirt, a hoodie, a beanie, a hat, whatever it may be. Man, Big Boys swag, Big Daddy NASCAR stuff, Big Daddy IndyCar, Big Daddy IMSA, Big Daddy FIA, whatever it may be. We've got all that merch there on our merch store. All those proceeds continue to help us make awesome content and continue this podcast every Tuesday with you fine motorsports fans. Also, next week is going to be a big week on this channel. It is the 100th, the centennial podcast of the channel. Unbelievable. When we started this out of a whim on a laptop, and now we've grown into this amazing community. I can't believe it, but we are on episode 100. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do some special stuff. We're going to talk about, obviously, the F1 and F2 championship battles. We're going to be talking about those as well. And the second half of that podcast is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to design it and everything this week, get it all ready to go. But I want to have some trips down memory lane and enjoy it here with you awesome community. Some of the funniest moments, some of the best moments that we've had on this channel. And look forward to the next 100. Unbelievable. 100 podcasts in next Tuesday. It's going to be so much fun. Can't wait for you guys to tune in. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here for another awesome podcast, Full Send Half Mast Podcast, episode 99. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the races this weekend and are looking forward to the finale to the 2024 motorsports season. Bittersweet. Exciting racing coming up. Also sad because it's over. But I can't wait to continue making this content for you guys here on this platform. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll catch you all on Sunday for that watch party. Make sure you guys tune in. Turn on those notifications, hit the subscribe button. And we'll see you all in the next one.
Get NFL Sunday Ticket and